Ever get that feeling? Like, bam, a project problem just slams into you out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know that feeling. It's like, how did we miss that?
Totally. So how do we avoid those blind sides, those hidden
Ah.
risks that can torpedo a project?
Well, we're going to explore a couple of techniques that can really make a difference. Two different paths to uncovering those hidden risks: brainstorming and the Delphi method.
Drawn from the book, by the way, Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon.
A fantastic resource for sure.
So let's break them down. I think a lot of people are familiar, at least on some level, with brainstorming, but maybe they haven't actually implemented it formally.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the other one, the Delphi method, I'm not sure I could explain that off the top of my head. So let's dive in. First up, brainstorming.
Hmm.
What's the heart of it? I mean, what's really driving the success of that method?
Well, it's all about the team, really. Getting everybody together, and the goal is pretty simple. Generate a ton of ideas.
Right, like just get it out there.
Exactly. And the key is, and I think this is where a lot of people go wrong, is that during the brainstorming session, there's zero judgment.
So it's okay to say something ridiculous.
Exactly. Because sometimes the most ridiculous ideas actually spark, really incredible breakthroughs.
Yeah. You need that freedom, I think, to just let it fly, because if you're always second-guessing yourself, you're going to hold back.
Absolutely. You're self-editing, and that just kills creativity. And, this kind of dynamic, it thrives on being together.
Yeah, I was going to say, being in the same room with folks, there's an energy to that.
It's palpable, right? You feed off each other's energy, and that's where those unexpected ideas really start popping up.
So brainstorming, it's that creative explosion. You're casting a wide net, hoping to catch some of those hidden risks, get those aha moments.
Now, let's flip the script and talk about the Delphi method. This one's all about achieving a consensus among experts. Very different than that initial creative burst we get with brainstorming.
So it's not so much about the volume of ideas, it's about the quality of those ideas.
Exactly. It's more structured, more about refining and validating expert opinions.
Okay, and how does that work in practice? How do you actually do the Delphi method?
Well, it's a systematic process that usually involves a series of questionnaires or rounds. You start with a long list of questions that you send out to experts.
These experts in, I assume, the field you're working in, whatever your project is about, they're the experts in that.
Absolutely. So they get these questions about potential risks, and the key is they provide their input anonymously.
Okay, so that's different. Why the anonymity?
Anonymity is really crucial here because it eliminates the influence of dominant personalities or any sort of groupthink.
People aren't swayed by the big names in the room.
Exactly. When you don't know who else is contributing, you're forced to think for yourself. And it also helps to eliminate bias, so people are less likely to just go with the flow or dismiss an idea because of who it came from.
It seems like both methods have their pros and cons. But how do you know which one to use? When does it make sense to go with brainstorming, and when should you choose the Delphi method?
Good question. Think of it this way. Brainstorming is best when you're in those early project stages, when you're just starting to map out the potential risk landscape.
So you're looking for that broad overview.
Exactly. And then the Delphi method, that's perfect when you need to validate those initial findings or when you need really in-depth expertise, to get a really clear picture.
So it's not so much about one being better than the other, it's about using the right tool for the right job.
Precisely. Each method has its own strengths. Brainstorming for that creative burst, the Delphi method for that structured expert consensus.
This has been really eye-opening. So knowing all this now, what risks do we run by choosing the wrong approach?
If you rely too heavily on brainstorming, you might end up with a ton of ideas, but not enough depth.
Like a mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah, exactly. And conversely, if you only use the Delphi method, you might miss those out-of-the-box ideas, those really innovative solutions that a more free-flowing brainstorming session can uncover.
That's a really great point. So listeners, consider the task at hand carefully. What are you trying to achieve, and what method will get you there? And for a much deeper dive on these methods and more, check out Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabon.
It's an invaluable resource for anyone involved in project management. Really helped me, I gotta say.
It's chock full of insights.